What's going on, guys? Today we're going to find out how many simulations it would take for the San Jose Sharks to win the Stanley Cup. If you guys have been living under a rock or maybe just not keeping up with NHL standings, they are looking like potentially the worst team in the history of the NHL. As you can see, they are currently dead last. They're at 32nd overall. They have yet to win a game in 10 games played. They have lost one game in overtime, giving them a single point there. Win percentage, though, is 0.45. Goal differential, minus 43. I mean, you got the Battle of Alberta above them there. And, like, those two teams aren't quite as bad. Minus 43 is absolutely insane. Not only that, too, guys, but they're actually the first team in NHL history to lose their first 11 games of the season. On top of that, I'm pretty sure I saw they're the first in NHL history to allow 10 goals in back-to-back games. You guys can see there, 10-1 loss to the Canucks, followed up with a 10-2 loss to the Penguins. These Sharks are in absolute shambles right now. So I figured it'd be fun to see how many times we have to simulate this season in NHL 24 before the Sharks finally win the Cup. As you guys can see there, in-game, their top players are Hurdle, Couture, and Duclair. Couture is currently injured, but I think is a big loss for their team. We're definitely going to be bringing him back for this sim. Every single team's going to have healthy players. But honestly, it's not going to help them out too much. They're still tied the Ducks there as the worst team in the Pacific. The only team worse than them in the West is the Chicago Blackhawks there, so it's still going to be a very uphill battle. I'm thinking this is going to take well over 10 simulations before we finally just get super lucky. And now for the simulation, guys, I'm seeing default settings. So simulation scoring there set to medium, shot frequency set to high. As well, too, in terms of the gameplay sliders, I got the attribute effects there set to 5 out of 10. As that's where EA has it at by default, which will help us out a lot because if it was higher, say like a 9 out of 10, normally like a bad team like the Sharks would do worse. So 5 out of 10 actually gives us a bit more of a chance. Alright, guys, so next I'll show the lines look like for this Sharks team. Obviously, a little bit better when everyone's healthy, but still not great. So we got Barbanov, Hurdle, Duclair on the first line, which isn't like terrible. Granlund, Couture, Hoffman on the second. Again, it's not terrible, but not ideal either. Third line, you got Zadina, Eklund, Zetterlund. I'm really hoping Eklund here can actually grow during the season. He's a 79. He's got mainly potential there. We really need him to kind of pop off to help boost up this team. Fourth line, you got Kunin, Sturm, LeBanc. I'm actually surprised this team does have a decent amount of X factors. If you guys are wondering, this is using Vasi's roster 3. Defensively, though, this team is just absolutely terrible, which is probably why they let in 10 goals in back-to-back games. So Mario Ferraro there is decent, 84 overall. After him, though, 81 Ruda, 80 Benning, 80 Vlasic, 78 Simek, 78 Kinzov. Like, it's just not good. Goaltending, we got an 81 Blackwood, 81 Kakinen. Like, there's just not a whole lot here. I look at power play 1, like, it's not terrible. The thing is, like, Ferraro's really not like an offensive defenseman. Obviously, they're really missing Carlson. Power play 2, like, the D is so bad. I'm just running 5 forwards, so I honestly think that gives us a better chance to win than having some, you know, not offensively talented defensemen out there. In terms of the PK, I'm putting out Hurdle and Couture a lot. I feel like, you know, they're our two best players. If there's any chance of us having success, those guys gotta be on the ice as much as possible. So leaning heavily on them in terms of the forward group, as well too leaning pretty heavily on Ferraro in terms of the defense. Obviously, guys, every year I can mix up the lines if I'm thinking, you know, something's not working. In the AHL, we could call up Lindblom, we could call up Bordelot. Defensively, you got Jacob McDonald, they actually had playing first line forward, I think, for 5 minutes the other night. That just shows you how much turmoil they're in when they're throwing Jacob McDonald, no offense to him, but first line left wing, like, that is not where he should be playing. So I feel like over the course of a bunch of sims, we should get lucky a few times, and as long as we can make the playoffs a few times, one of the times maybe, can actually go on a deep run. Currently in the preseason, we're 4-2. The Flames are 0-5-1. Duclair there's got 10 points in 6 games. Before we start the first submission here, guys, I will show you our ratings. So we've got 90 offense, 84 defense, 82 goaltending. Will that be good enough to win a Stanley Cup? Let's see how long it takes. Alright, guys, so I just got finished with the first year sim. Look at that. Chicago picking first overall back-to-back. So after getting Bedard, they get Macklin Celebrini. You might have noticed there, our rival in the LA Kings actually won the Stanley Cup. Right there, guys, can see our final record, 34, 44, and 4. So not a great season. We actually were around 500 until about Christmas. Then the team kind of started to fall apart. Senators won the President's Trophy. Probably not happening in real life this year. Going through here, looking for our team. We finished, oh wow, we finished dead last with 72 points. So about as you'd expect the Sharks to do. In terms of the scoring, you can see Couture was our scoring leader with 74. Barbanov at 68. Granlund 62. I mean, we actually had 5 guys there with 60-plus points. Hurdle was only 1 off. Eklund had 50, which is pretty good for a rookie. Did he grow at all? He's at 83 now. So yeah, I think, you know, having him third line. But if he ends up at 83 at the end of the season, like, that's definitely worth it. He's getting power play time. Our top defensive scorer there, Ferraro, only at 33 points. Minus 34. Goaltending stats. Kakinen actually a bit better than Blackwood. In terms of the playoff sheet here, guys, you can see the Kings beat the Ducks in 7, Blues in 7, Jets in 7, and then the Senators in 7. So they definitely earned it. I mean, the fact that Ducks made the playoffs, I feel it gives me a little bit of hope for this team that we'll get lucky in one of the sims. Now, Look at the individual awards here quickly. We can see McDavid, Art Ross Trophy in the Hart, Picard, James Norris. So far, kind of what you'd expect, honestly. I'm just curious. Maybe we got like the Bill Masterton. Honestly, so far it's actually pretty realistic. Arizona coach Jack Adams. I didn't even realize they made the playoffs. O'Reilly, Selke, McDavid, Ted Lindsay, and Bedard there actually. Maurice Richard's rookie season. That's kind of nuts. Now for the second simulation, guys, I'm changing up a couple things. We put Granlund on the third line. Actually gives us +1 there on every single forward line. Also, Chimio tried putting Eklund PK3, just the fact. He ended up in 83. We give him even more ice time. Maybe he'll grow a bit more. Also, I did forget to show you guys, in terms of the coaching staff, if we had an A head coach, this would definitely be a lot easier. Unfortunately, we've got a B head coach. Honestly, it's probably fair. I feel like David Quinn's currently looking like an F head coach, so I feel like EA giving us a B head coach is more than fair. We'll see how we do here in Sim 2. Now this time, guys, you got the Montreal Canadiens picking first overall, getting Macklin Celebrini. We actually had the second pick. As you can see there, we finished third last, so again, not a great season. Buffalo Sabres taking home the Stanley Cup. Logan Scher, 70 points. I am thinking maybe put him and Hurdle both together in the first line. Might produce a bit more, might help with this team. Now looking at the entire league, got the Avs winning the President's Trophy, 113 points. I'm trying to see if any like surprise team, maybe Nashville, you know, squeaking in. Washington as well. Chicago got into the playoffs. Okay, so I mean there is hope for us. We just have to get really lucky in one of these sims. We did a little bit better this year, finishing third last. Again, for some reason the EA sim hates the Vegas Golden Knights, even though they're one of the best teams in the NHL right now. It really makes no sense. So you look at the stats here behind Couture, Barbanov 65, Hurdle 56, only 3 guys having 50 plus points. Yeah, definitely gotta switch these lines up. Goaltending wise, you know, more the same. Really not the greatest stats, but I feel like I put a lot of that on the defense more than the goaltending. Sabres there. Beat the Red Wings, the Penguins, the Devils, and then the Oilers there in the Stanley Cup final. Now in terms of the awards, Jack Hughes actually wins Art Ross and the Hart, Picard again, James Norris, Hughes, Lady Bing, Bedard, Calder, pretty much a lock. Jeff Skinner, Conn Smythe. Let's see, Piszczek, Bill Masterton. I thought maybe we'd win one of those. Doesn't look like it though. So Sim 3, like I said, we'll switch up the lines a lot more. So like I was saying, guys, for the third sim here, I'm trying Couture and Hurdle both on the first line with Barbanov. Second line is actually Duclair, Eklund, and Hoffman. I feel like if Eklund gets even more ice time, maybe he'll grow even faster. I'm really hoping he can be kind of a player that steps up for us. Also, too, having Granlund as a third line center to start the year gets a bit more depth. You can see chemistry-wise, it's better as well. Top 6 there gets +2s. Bomb 6 +1s. Even defensively, they've actually brought up Kyle Burrows to replace Simic. So just trying some different things here. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, so we'll get into luck in the third sim. As you can see there, Columbus picking first overall. I'm actually noticing, so they jumped from 8 to 1, and I'm redoing this one all to start like the same saves file after I've edited the lines. And I think what they actually do at the draft lottery is they already like roll to see who wins at the very start. So if you guys are gonna try and like save before the draft and then, you know, hope to get good lottery results, you'd have to literally restart the whole season, which I think is good. Prevents people from kind of cheesing it. But as you guys can see, we're picking 2 after finishing third last. The Devils there won the Stanley Cup. Couture actually had more points than we've had from any player this sim, so that's good. 81 points, up to an 88. I mean, about a point per game. Barbanov 78, Hurdle 76. So the first line did well. They actually had a pretty good plus-minus. The second line, though, not so much. Duclair had 61 points, still a -19. Hoffman 55. Eklund got up to an 83. Maybe switch back him and Granlund. Granlund there at 36. I mean, again, it's defensive scoring. Like, classic letter defenseman in points with 25. He is not an offensive defenseman at all. Goaltending stats here, again, aren't that great. And then you look at the standings here. The Dallas Stars won the President's Trophy, 110. Any surprise? I mean, Vegas actually had a good sim for once. Let's see. So like I said, third last there above only the Jets. Surprised to see them do so bad, and the Chicago Blackhawks. So we really got to get lucky here coming up with one of these sims. The Devils won the Cup. They beat out the Rangers, Capitals, Lightning, and then the Kings. And look at the awards here, guys. Robertson, Art Ross Trophy. Kind of all Dallas. Carlson, of course, you know, the guy Sharks traded away. Just quickly going through. No Bill Masterton still for us, which kind of sucks, but we'll see what happens in sim number 4. All right, guys, like I was saying, for sim 4, we're going to have Granlund back at the second line center spot. Also, promoting LeBanc there from the 4th line to the 3rd. I feel like, you know, he's higher rated than Zetterlund, might as well. Defensively, too, switched it up. So we got Edward Vlasic down the top here with Ferraro. The fact he put up 25 points, let's just give him some more ice time. Ruda, Kinzov, Simic, Benning there. We actually get a bit more chemistry, a bit more balance that way, too. Let's see if we can, you know, not get bottom 5 in the league. This is kind of funny, guys. Florida, they're picking first overall with the Vegas Golden Knights pick. You might notice we're actually not in the draft lottery. That's because somehow this team made the playoffs. Record there 43, 30, and 9 before losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions in the Edmonton Oilers. So I'll show you guys here just kind of how it went down in the playoffs as well too as regular season. But first, you can see the Oilers beat us in 5. Then they swept the Kraken and the Stars before beating the Bruins there in 6. In terms of the regular season, like, we actually had a solid record, so definitely going to run back the exact same lines we used. Hopefully can make it back into the playoffs. Obviously, Couture, Hurdle on that first line together is the way to go. We were actually a top 10 team this year. Finished with 95 points. Like, that's pretty crazy after, you know, how bad those first few sims were. Last there was actually comes Blue Jackets. And what's kind of crazy is Logan Couture actually was a minus 17 with 73 points, but we did have a really good start to the year, so maybe just after that, we kind of played good enough, you know, 500 hockey or whatever to kind of keep it together. 5 guys there, 60 plus. Hurdle was close. Hurdle definitely, you know, needs to pick it up. He's got the offensive stats. I'm not really sure why he's not. Big divide between like Hurdle and the next guy on the bank with only 39. Eklund only got to an 82. So he also has room to grow if he has a better sim. Goaltending was actually a lot better this year as well. So maybe Edward Vlasic, Farrow together on that top pair is also helping us out. I feel like, you know, could win the Jack Adams this year, actually get into the playoffs. McDavid with another Art Ross trophy, another heart. Let's see, Boston getting some stuff. I don't think anyone other than Bedard's won the Calder yet. McDavid actually won the Conn Smythe there. And let's see, there we go. We actually did win the Jack Adams, so that's very cool. Our only award, but still our first award. Let's see if we can get back into the playoffs next sim. Alright guys, so I just finished the 5th sim. As you can see, my Detroit Red Wings won the Stanley Cup. And we actually had a solid record again this year, 42, 35, and 5, which was good enough to make the playoffs. You can see Logan Couture there actually had 8 points in 11 games. If you guys are good at math at all, that means we actually made the second round. Unfortunately, again, losing to the Oilers. As you can see, we actually beat the Canucks in the first round in 7 before getting swept by the Oilers there. Avalanche Detroit in the Stanley Cup final. That'd actually be a lot of fun to watch. So I will show you guys where we finished in the regular season. I think last sim we got 9th in the NHL. This sim looks like we're probably a little bit worse, but still not too bad. Okay, I take that back. 18th there. So the worst team to get in, but still we got in. Luckily because we're in the West and not in the East. And this time Anthony Duclair was actually our leading scorer, 77 points. Couture at 69, which is pretty nice. Granlund at 62 was actually a +1. Barbanov minus 27. I don't know, maybe you could still, you know, tinker with that first line and take Barbanov off of it, have somebody else play with Hurdle and Couture, hopefully, you know, get their plus minus a little bit higher. Goaltending stats, again, decent enough to win the playoffs, but they weren't as good as last year. Now, take a look at the awards. I feel like we probably won the Jack Adams again. McKinnon, Art Ross trophy, and the Hart. Canucks there winning a lot of stuff. I still have yet to see a sim where Bedard did not win the Calder, which is pretty funny. Cider there, Conn Smythe trophy. You don't see that all the time. And look at that, we do win the Jack Adams again. I feel like if we make the playoffs, we're basically a lock to get that. But next year, guys, we'll see what the 6th sim holds. Now, for this next sim, guys, we're going to try to clear on that first line. I've also got a bank on the second line now, so he's promoted quite a bit from when he originally started on the 4th. Playing with Granlund, Barbanov, Hoffman, Eklund, Zadina's new look 3rd line. 4th line there, Zetterlund, Sturm, Kunin. Defensively, they'll keep it the same. I think, you know, Vlasic, Farrow seems to be working as the top pair. We made the playoffs, you know, the last 2 sims in a row. Also, too, like last year, made it to round 2. All we gotta hope now is one of the times we make the playoffs, we somehow get super lucky and can actually win the cup with this team. Alright guys, so unfortunately the 6th sim did not go our way. Record there, 33, 46, and 3. Clearly missed the playoffs. The Avs win the Stanley Cup. I'll show you guys where we finished the entire NHL. Logan Couture, 72 points, leading the team in scoring. I think definitely gonna go back to the other lines, which obviously got us into the playoffs. 2 sims in a row. Avalanche and Oilers both had 115. A lot of teams there actually kind of crushing it. Wow, Winnipeg got into the 20th seed with 83 points. So if we just had our old lines, I think we definitely could have snuck in. We finished tied for second last, or actually tied for last with the Coyotes. Both had 69. Not nice in this regard. We'll see plus minus, I guess a little better for the top line. Unfortunately, the rest of the team, like Barbanov, a minus 21. Yeah, just not going to work, I don't think, unfortunately. Goalie stats there pretty much are the same every single time, for being honest. Take a quick look here at the awards. Mitch Marner actually won the Art Ross. Kopitar, though, the Hart. Just curious to see if we won anything. Looks like Makar almost always wins the James Norris, and Bedard literally is a lock for the Calder every single season. Hackett-Paul there got the Bill Master, and that's probably the only one we could have gotten. So maybe the next one, Simulation 7, will be lucky for us. Let's see what happens. I'll probably go back to the original lines that we actually made the playoffs with. Alright guys, check this out. Somehow this San Jose Sharks team has made the Stanley Cup final. We're currently down 3-2 to the Rangers after beating the Kraken in 7, getting revenge on the Oilers, beating them in 7, beat the Stars in 7 as well. So just scratching and clawing our way. We were actually down 3-1, beat the Rangers there in OT Game 5. Let's see if we can force Game 7 here. Gotta win Game 6 at home in San Jose. And we pull it a 3-2 win. So this San Jose Sharks team, who has lost 11 straight games to start the year in real life, is 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. Can they pull this thing off? We'll sim it period by period. They're in New York, trying to get this done in Madison Square Garden. And it's 1-1 after 1. Trocheck for the Rangers, Hoffman for us. 2-1, Zadina. Are you kidding me? Imagine Philip Zadina as the Stanley Cup hero. We're getting outshot here pretty bad. They got about a 10-shot lead. Big power play, somehow able to kill it off. Another power play, cannot be undisciplined. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. 2-1 lead still for us. Zibanejad ties it up. 5 minutes to go. The Rangers have a lot more shots, but it looks like this thing's going to OT. So I feel like we can just resume simulation here. Count it down. Who's going to step up? Power play. This could be it. Are you kidding me? Logan Couture. That wasn't even a power play goal. I thought it was. It must have been right as the power play ended. Wins the Stanley Cup for the San Jose Sharks in OT, Game 7. You couldn't write it up better than that. Are you kidding me? So, wow. It took 7 simulations, guys. I can't believe this team. They made the playoffs almost 50% of the time. Like 3 out of 7 is pretty impressive for how bad this Sharks team is. Again, we definitely found that, perfect lineup once I did. Made sure to stick to it. As of one time I tried, going away from it, we immediately went back to being a basement team. So, look here, guys. Anthony Duclair, almost a point per game in those playoffs. Dallas Stars won the President's Trophy, 111. I think we were tied with the Jets. We almost had the tiebreaker, though. We finished 1 spot above them, 14th there in the entire NHL. Last place this sim was the Blue Jackets, which I feel bad for the Jackets fans. Couture there at 72 points. Still a minus 14, though. It's kind of crazy to me. Just shows, I guess, the power play was just, pretty effective. Barbanov there, Granlund, Hurdle, Duclair, Hoffman, all at 50 plus. LeBanc close to 50. He's definitely, him being on the 3rd line rather than the 4th was a big help. Eklund ended up being an 82, not even 83. And our highest scoring defenseman, Ferraro, only at 30 points. And I was just thinking, guys, how did this team even make the playoffs in the first place? Pretty much every single player had a dash this season. We'll sort it by plus minus. Yeah, we had 3 players there positive. Like, what the heck? This does not look like a playoff team based on the plus minus. I guess this kind of proves, plus minus is a dumb stat. I feel like I've heard that time and time again. Ferraro Vlasic was our top D pair. They had the worst plus minus. I thought they were the reason why we kept making the playoffs. So that is very interesting to see for sure. Goaltenders here, not too bad. We definitely had to look at the playoff stats too and see how these guys did. Obviously, Duclair led the way, 25 points. Barbanov and Hurdle had 23. Couture only had 21. 3 goals as well. I'm surprised didn't score more than that. Goalies here. So Blackwood got the starts. 917-277. He definitely stepped up for us there in the playoffs. And I look at the playoff tree here, guys. As I mentioned, we definitely earned this Stanley Cup. Best of 7 with the Kraken, Oilers, Stars, and the Rangers. I feel like that just kind of shows you how lucky we got. Every single series went all the way. So finally here, taking a look at the awards. 2024 Stanley Cup champs, San Jose Sharks. How funny is that? Individual awards, Suzuki, our Ross Trophy this year, and the Hart. Interesting. Quinn Hughes, James Norris. He's actually won it quite a bit. It's basically him or Makar. Bedard has never not won the Calder. That's also pretty funny. Duclair, Conn Smythe Trophy winner. We'll take a look here. We also get the Jack Adams. We do. So every single time we made the playoffs, we got that trophy. No other awards for us, but still, I can't believe that. I thought for sure it would take over 10 sims. The fact that we found that lineup that worked, because I think that lineup made the playoffs every single time. So I feel like that does show that your lineup does matter in the sim. I've had people say just do like the assistant coach best lines every single time. It doesn't matter. I feel like this video proved it definitely does. Obviously, there is still some luck involved, but the lineup definitely has a factor. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, leave that thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, hit the sub button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.